Bushcraft 412. Today we're going to do a review on the Mtech Bowie knife. Model number on this is MT-488. Very nice knife. I got this one from Wild Bill Wholesale for about 10, 11, maybe 12 bucks. Can't remember exactly, but not overly expensive. You also saw this knife if you checked out my other video, the Mtech video, whether they're garbage or gold. This knife was in there briefly, and I just want to do a full review on it because I am really digging this as a budget knife. So let's break into the box. Here is the knife. I already took it out of the sheath. Let's talk real quick about the sheath before we move on. Sheath is basically nylon Cordura. Nice sizable belt loop on it. Nothing fancy at all. Nothing spectacular, nothing to write home about, but as expected for this price range of a it's held in there by Velcro. I'm not a big fan of that, mostly because of the noise. You know, like if you are trying to be quiet, use this, you know, pull this out without someone hearing. Velcro is kind of a bad idea. I'd much rather it be a snap, but $10 knife, you know, who cares? It's actually a fairly decent nylon sheath. So with that said, let's move on to the knife. I am really digging this knife. Blade length is about 7 inches. Rather heavy, probably closer to a pound. I don't think there's an exact weight on the website, otherwise I'd let you know exactly, but it's pretty heavy. As you can see, Mtech USA, you know, one of the most hated companies in knives. People just seem to hate Mtech like gun people hate High Point and Jimenez, you know, just one of those things. 7-inch kind of Bowie style blade, very reminiscent of the K-bar, but not quite. It's, you know, I think it's supposed to be their, you know, Mtech's version of the K-bar. I know Mtech does have a fake K-bar, but this is a nice little kind of Bowie style knife. Metal guard, which is nice. Very solid in there too. No movement in that. Wood handles. Little texture on there, but if you look really close in a few spots, if I can find one, along the spine here, you can actually see where the wood's actually hand painted. You can see the brush marks in a couple spots where they didn't 100% brush it. But that's okay. With it, you know, a $10 knife, you're not going to get perfection. But it is a full tang knife. As you can see, the tang goes completely down to the bottom. The wood overlay handles are screwed on with, it looks like normal Phillips head screws, which is fine, you know. I mean, if they ever come loose or whatever, you can always super glue them or duct tape them or do whatever, but they appear pretty solid. There's no wiggle to them at all. No wiggle to the finger guard. Very nice. With these Mtech knives, they are 440 steel. I'm guessing 440A just based on the feel, but that's a pretty uneducated guess if you ask me. These say handcrafted in China. Where a lot of your problems with knife people don't like these knives is that they are made in China. I don't have any issue with it per se, mostly because this to me is just kind of an extra beater knife. This is something I can just beat the snot out of and not worry about it. Blade thickness is pretty appreciable. Nice thick blade, on par with some machetes, which is really nice. Blade thickness goes full on to about the edge of the where the clip point starts, and then of course, but so you've got a good thick blade for most of the blade. You've got a cutout and a fuller there, which is kind of nice. As for edge, this thing actually has a very sharp edge straight out of the box. This is hair shaving sharp, straight out of the box. I haven't even had to touch it. It's kind of a little bit, it looks like a bit of a hollow grind to it. It's tough to tell. It's very, you know, it's not very pronounced, but it looks like there might just be a hair of a hollow grind to that, which is kind of nice. But this thing is very sharp straight out of the box. very solid feeling in the hand, very well balanced, right at the finger guard. Just really feels good for, like, I mean, for a $12 knife, I think this is actually probably one of the best large knives I've ever gotten in that price range. I can't think offhand of spending, you know, I think the only exception is a couple of the cold steel machetes I was able to get on closeout for around $10, $12, but, you know, those are closeout and those are machetes. I've never seen another Bowie in this price range that's of this quality. Now, 440 is not the best steel, but it's not, there's nothing wrong with it either. I've gone over this in a couple other videos and preached about it, so I'll spare it to you, but 440 is actually a decent steel. It's not horrible. It's not going to shatter into a million pieces if you use it. You know, it's good steel. It's been used for a long time, and, you know, as much as the steel snobs try to prove otherwise, it's an alright steel for knives. So I definitely think for the money, this could be an excellent outdoor knife. No problems with that at all. I think it could be a great outdoor knife. I think it could be a great SHTF knife, just something to store and keep around in case, you know, things ever hit the fan. And at the price range, you could buy 2 or 3 of these and, you know, not have to worry about it. If one breaks, you got 2 or 3 more. And I know you're saying, well, at that price, if you're going to buy 2 or 3, you could just buy yourself a nice, you know, K-bar. Very true. But sometimes when you only have 10, 15 bucks at a time to spend, it's nice to be able to pick up something like this, you know, and then get your K-bar later when you got more money. So, kind of an advantage to that. You know, just that you can pick this up real quick with your spare change. So, I do like it. I definitely recommend it. Very nice knife. Quality is decent. The finish on it's actually, I've looked it over and there's no problems with the finish whatsoever. I've checked the blade. The blade has no burrs in it, no nicks in it. One of my other Mtechs has a couple nicks in the blade, but this one does not. Very clean all the way down. So actually, surprisingly good quality for an Mtech, and one of a couple that I found. They're actually great knives at a, you know, $10 to $15 price range. And once again, in case you missed it, the model number is MT-488. Bowie style from Mtech, made in China. 440 steel. And it's about a 7-inch blade. Hope you enjoyed the review. Feel free to leave any comments.